Hi. Last week we looked at the passage in Mark 4 where Jesus calms the storm, and we saw that Jesus' power and love are far greater than this pandemic. This time I want to look at a passage in John 6 where the disciples are again in a storm, but this time without Jesus. They set off rowing in an evening, and a storm develops and it grows dark. And John writes after 3 to 3.5 miles they see a figure walking towards them on the water, which understandably petrifies them. But it's Jesus, and he assures them it's him. When they realise that, they invite him onto the boat, and it says immediately Jesus is on the boat, they miraculously get to the shore they were heading for. It's interesting, why does John write it was about 3.25 miles? What was significant about writing the distance they'd gone? A few years ago I took part in one day of a week-long cross-country canoeing event, and the day I picked happened to be a really strong headwind, and I soon learned how tiring it is rowing, or canoeing, paddling in my case, against the wind. And we were constantly working out how far we'd gone to work out will we make it to our evening's destination point, which fortunately we did, but it was hard work. And I think that's why John records the distance, because I think it was incredibly hard work for his disciples rowing against the wind in this storm, and they were trying to work out where were they in this storm, how far had they gone, how much further did he have to go, which was the nearest shore, what was the easiest way out of this storm. And I'm sure many were perhaps thinking, are they actually going to make it out this storm? Many people will be having similar thoughts as this pandemic grows. And it's a similar kind of situation. It's dark. We don't know how far we've gone. We don't know how much further we have to go. There are only best estimates in the gloom, really. And some might be worried, will I make it to the far shore? There are some people, key workers particularly, who are probably working exhausting shifts. But even if you're not a key worker, for everyone, there's a very draining set of tension and worrying. It's a unique and difficult situation that everyone finds themselves in. I believe Jesus will get us to that far shore, and he'll do so in 3 ways. If, like disciples, we invite him onto our boat, we invite him into our situation, we don't let fear, like the disciples almost did, push him away. 3 ways he will do are miracles, muscle and mentality. Firstly, miracles. It's interesting that we focus on Jesus walking on the water in this passage, yet that was just a means to an end. The significant miracle that Jesus wanted to perform was to rescue these disciples out of this desperate situation. Jesus' heart is always to rescue and to save, and he knows what you're going through. Jesus on the land knew what the disciples were going through in this storm. He knew they're exhausted. We can often we're much stronger than we realise, and we only know that through difficulty, but Jesus knows at your breaking point, and if we look to him, he will get you to that far shore, even if it takes miracles, and I'm sure he'll perform many in the days to come globally. Also, muscle. We saw last week that stress is debilitating, not just emotionally but also physically. Poor sleep can also be very draining, so having the peace of God can often give you the extra physical strength required to see through whatever challenges lay ahead. And finally, in mentality, both wisdom and attitude. Jesus only did what the Father revealed. He didn't waste time doing anything superfluous and unnecessary. If we listen to Jesus by his Spirit, we will work smarter. We'll only do what is required. We won't waste effort on things that aren't, and we will know what to do, when to do it, and when to rest. And also our attitude is often key to succeeding. As we see in sport, when a team heads go down, they often lose. How we view these coming days will be critical as well, and with God's Spirit you can often see this as a unique opportunity. It's an opportunity to show communal love, which many are already taking, It can be a unique opportunity for God to do things within your family in this very unique situation where you're all thrown together. And finally, for people on their own, or just within yourself in this unique situation, God might want to do things within your own life. Things which you've perhaps in past life and the busyness of past life has just you've brushed aside. Jesus will get us to that far shore. It is his heart to save always, and he will achieve it. And as Christians, we can say that no matter what happens to us, either in life or in death, we definitely will all meet on that far shore by Jesus' grace.